Climbing monopoles and working hundreds of feet in the air takes practice, special skills, and a strong mental attitude. This video will demonstrate proper procedures to follow when working at a monopole site, including inspection of personal climbing equipment, towers, ladder safety devices, and procedures for climbing, maneuvering, fall space swing zone, suspension and descending, and emergency rescue systems. When you reach the tower worksite, your first concern is any adverse climbing conditions. The greatest of these is weather. Remember, your safety should be of utmost concern. You are being provided with the proper equipment and training to successfully complete your task. However, you must take personal responsibility for your safety. This should include proper pre-planning before the climb and options available in case of an emergency, which may include identifying possible rescue response services. At the site, you will need to review the tasks and select the appropriate tools, materials, and equipment to accomplish the climb. Inspect your personal climbing equipment before each day's climb. If you find any equipment defective, replace it immediately. Begin by inspecting your full body harness. Check fabric and belt straps to be sure they are free of cuts, burns, broken stitching, or excessive wear. Inspect D-rings and buckles for distortion and cracks. Check shock absorbing and positioning lanyards. Be sure all safety latches operate freely and securely. If you are using a self-retracting lanyard or SRL, inspect it carefully. Be sure labels are present and readable. The lanyard should be checked every 6 months by a competent person and once a year by the manufacturer. If the factory service date is more than 12 months since inspection, or if any lanyard or body harness has been stress-loaded, they must be removed from service. Next, check the line on the retractable lanyard for smooth operation. Pull out several feet of line and let it slip back through your fingers. If the line jams while pulling out, catches on the way back, doesn't retract completely, or does not engage when testing the locking mechanism, take it out of service. Inspect the rope, rescue, and suspension equipment. Check for abrasions or deformities. And finally, ensure that your communication systems are operational. Next, perform a visual pre-climb inspection to determine your climbing path and your selection of personal fall arrest equipment. Develop a climbing plan when studying the tower from the ground. Look for obstacles and any unsafe conditions. Consider the location of transmission lines, conduit, and antennas, which may make maneuvering and connecting safety lines awkward. Check condition and existence of ladder rungs, pegs, and step bolts. Binoculars are well suited to this task. Remember, things look different from the ground. Look at the top hat for decking. If there is no decking, you should not exit from the safe climb device. All work performed on monopoles without top decks will be performed by boom truck. There are several types of ladder safety devices used on towers and monopoles, all of which need to be inspected. Ladder safety devices are designed to arrest the fall of a climber. Inspect the tension to be sure the cable has proper pre-tension. Check the condition of the ladder, pegs, or step bolts. Next, connect to the ladder safety device. Test the lock by pulling down hard on the connecting ring and be sure it locks up. Each device has its own physical characteristics, and the climber should run it up and down the cable, locking and unlocking several times to develop a feel for how smoothly it works. Connect the device to the D-ring on the front, sides, or saddle of your body harness using a carabiner. Be sure no other attachments are made to these D-rings during the climb. Before beginning the climb, you should again carefully check all equipment and material attached to your belt. Be sure lanyards, hooks, tool bags, and lines are attached so they will not encumber your climb. Once you begin the climb, establish a smooth rhythm and maintain at least 3 points of contact at all times. Climb with your legs, not your arms, and rest frequently. Try to keep the side-to-side swing of your body at a minimum. You should exercise good judgment and maintain safe distance from other climbers. When you reach the top of your climb, examine the tower carefully and select your connecting points between the ladder and your target destinations. Also, be sensitive to where other climbers are attaching. Once you see your path clearly, make the first connection to the appropriate structure with a fall arrest lanyard at the highest attachment point available. Uncouple from the ladder safety device and climb off the ladder or pegs. While maneuvering, maintain 100% fall protection by selecting anchorage points and fall arrest equipment appropriate to the task and the specific structure. Self-retracting lanyards are often the best choice when there are limited anchorage points between the safe climb cable and your work location. The use of a self-retracting lanyard may present significant fall space and swing zone hazards. You must be very sensitive to this while working on a top deck. Since this system is designed to arrest a fall, there is still a 2-foot descent possible if you did fall. Keep in mind this fall space and the swing zone while working. The swing zone is the area in which you may swing if you should fall. Once you reach your work area, you will need to connect a positioning lanyard to allow yourself a comfortable relationship to your work with full fall protection. However, this does not substitute the need for a fall arrest lanyard. You should leave enough slack to allow free movement to perform your work, but secure enough to limit excessive movement. Some tasks, such as working below the top hat on a monopole, will require you to use suspension equipment. Remember these key points when using the descent control equipment. Attach your descent line and your safety line to separate anchorage points. Maintain 100% connection during its rigging. Exercise care to protect soft lines from abrasion. Use padding if you must draw the lines across a structure. Attach the rope grab to the lifeline. Attach the short shock-absorbing lanyard to your back D-ring. Rig your descent device to the rope and then connect to your harness with a carabiner. Attach your long shock-absorbing lanyard to an anchorage point on the top deck. Ease over the edge of the top deck and lower yourself until suspended. Next, attach a short shock-absorbing lanyard to the rope grab. Disconnect your long shock-absorbing lanyard from the anchorage point on the top deck and then slowly and carefully lower yourself to your work position. Once you have secured your descent control equipment, begin your work. At some point in your climbing experience, you may have an emergency, and there are proper procedures to follow to maintain your safety and perhaps the life of a climbing partner. For purposes of demonstration and safety, we will be using a mannequin. Several methods are available to facilitate the rescue of a fallen climber, depending on the tower and the work being performed. In the event of an emergency, notify 911 or the local emergency provider as soon as possible. Use of outside rescue services may be an option, but depends on availability and response time. Your controlled descent equipment is an acceptable rescue system. Lower yourself slowly and position yourself above the fallen climber's back D-ring. Attach a carabiner to the back D-ring and connect it to your suspension system. Cut the line that the fallen worker is connected to with a knife. Be slow and careful to avoid further injury and damage to any other line. Slowly lower both yourself and the fallen climber to the ground. Appropriate medical attention should be provided immediately. Remember, climbing and working on towers is dependent on you taking safety seriously. Tower safety is up to you. Take it personally. It could save a life. Yours.